Andrew Smith, and one of the questions that's been coming up to us a lot, and you and I have talked about many times in qualifying a seller to do a short sale, one of the simplest questions to ask is, do you have a need to sell, or do you in fact just want to sell?
Right, and this is just one of many questions we get.
One of many questions that we get. So,
because our videos wouldn't stop if we didn't keep getting questions from our viewers and from homeowners.
No, the questions from the viewers and the homeowners is great.
Awesome.
It keeps us going. But one of the things is when we talk about that they need to sell, we're talking about they need to have a hardship. And we've mentioned in the past that for what fits nicely in the box, so to speak,
right,
is that there's 16 basic acceptable hardships.
For the most part, there's 16, and sometimes we get a combination of several that constitute a true hardship.
Exactly. What most people think of is when you say there has to be a hardship, they instantly go to financial first, meaning they're unemployed, or they've had a severe reduction in income that's causing it so that they're in financial difficulty. But there are many other factors that can contribute to a financial hardship and a hardship in general. And like we said, there's 16 of them, so what we thought we'd do for everyone today is actually go through the list of 16.
So how fast can you read these?
I can read these very fast. All right, so we're not going to spend too much time on details on all of them, but we already talked about one. Actually, we talked about numbers 1 and 2.
I'm glad that you actually have a sheet, because I know in past videos I've had a sheet just to remind me so I didn't misspeak.
Well, that's exactly what we don't
so
want to miss anything.
You're human.
Thank you.
Wow.
Number 1, very simple, loss of employment. Someone lost their job. Now they don't have the money. Obviously, they don't get a paycheck. They are now struggling to make that payment.
Now they're going to need to sell the property.
Now they need to
sell
sell
the property. Gotcha.
Reduction in income. One of the things that's not reported in the unemployment figures is how many people are being affected by underemployment, meaning they used to work 40 hours a week, maybe plus some overtime, but now all of a sudden there's no overtime.
Hey, with a little bit of sarcasm to this, because I have to add to this, maybe since the federal government is all this bailout stuff, and now there's all this new talk about, Obama's running for a new election. I don't want to get too political, but maybe they'll do an underemployment ratio.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Why not?
Those numbers would look real bad. I know here in California, if they factor that in, they say our effective unemployment rate is actually about 25%.
We're actually underemployed compared to last year this time.
Correct.
About 40%.
Correct.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Thank you. So much better.
So underemployment is another one which could result in a reduction in income. Okay, number 3 on our list is business failure.
Yeah. Businesses fail when the economy falls.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you may be in a business which relates to unemployment.
It does.
But it may have been a sideline business that brought money in or something along those lines, but it's a business failure. Number 4, here's one that people don't quite often come across as often. It affects some states more than others. Mm-hmm. But if your property is to sustain substantial damage that's not covered by insurance. Now, obviously in our area, it's a fire area or earthquake.
Right.
So if it sustains earthquake damage or fire damage, or if you're in a state where there might be more weather damage from tornadoes or hurricanes, and if you've got substantial repairs that are needed that are not covered by insurance that you cannot afford to do, that would qualify as a hardship right there.
Yeah.
An unfortunate one that does happen is a death of a spouse or a wage earner. So you may not have lost your job, but you may have had a spouse that unfortunately passed away.
Yeah, not only do you have the sadness of a loss in your life, you now have a situation that if they're on the house or on the mortgage, that could constitute a need to sell or a short sale.
Absolutely. There could be children to take care of. It's throwing everything into a monkey wrench into everything. Another one could be the death of a non-wage earner in the household or a family member. So it's not necessarily someone that was on the loan, but it could be there was a death in the family that people have a need to sell. That's also a qualified
we got to get off
hardship.
death, dude. I'm getting depressed.
Severe illness or medical condition.
Which could mean a lot of things.
Which could mean a lot of things, but we did have one that was reported to us not that long ago. There was somebody that was injured and then suffered a back injury, and as a result of the back injury, they could no longer walk upstairs. Stairs were just not an option. The house that they lived in, which was upside down, the master bedroom, and a lot of their...
Financially upside down, not like going up the stairs upside down.
Correct.
Okay, we don't want to do the Harry Potter gig.
Exactly.
All right,
so
making sure we're straight on
So you got something that now they don't have full use of the property. That would qualify as a hardship as well. Inheritance. you may have had, grandma, grandpa, somebody pass away.
Yeah.
And you inherit the property, which sounds great. But now all of a sudden you inherit the property, you can be responsible for the mortgage.
You may have inherited some debt.
Exactly.
So be careful who you want to inherit stuff from in your family. I think that's the message.
Exactly. You may be in a situation where you can't afford that. Divorce.
Yep. Don't even want to talk about that all that often, but we all know that if there's a divorce in the situation, most likely going to have a need to sell.
And right now, number one cause of divorce is financial stress in the household.
So now we have multiple.
You go across all of what we just talked about, causing financial stress. There's a split.
And we're going to do another video on divorce, I think, and
Yes.
talk about some different things that happen in that need to sell.
Exactly. Job relocation.
Yep.
Here's one now where you maybe have an employer that needs to transfer you. They may not be a large company. They don't have a relocation department. They're not paying for the move. But if you want to stay employed, you have to get out of that house. So job relocation is one that would also qualify.
Let's clarify a little bit too. This doesn't mean job relocation from this city to the next city.
No.
This is normally minimum of 100 miles.
Usually.
Or on an average, I should say, of about 100 miles. So if you're working for a company and they're going to transfer you only 30 miles away, unless possibly you're in the Los Angeles area, like we are, not too far from LA, and you're going to be transferred 50, 60 miles, that could add 2 to 3 hour drive. That might constitute, but it has to be explained to the lien holder why.
Exactly. There's got to be a compelling reason.
That's the word I was looking for, compelling.
There you go.
25
That's why I'm here.
Thank you.
Military service, number 11.
Yep.
The members of our armed services, we have a great deal of respect for them. In this area, we come across a lot of military people. Deployment, transfer of home base, items such as that. The lenders right now are getting very good on military.
Well, they better.
They better.
Because without our military, the banks can go away.
Exactly.
Look what's happened overseas.
Exactly.
I tell you what, go to Iraq right now and try to buy a house and see how the bank cooperates.
Or a tent.
Yeah, I mean, it's irritating. So finally the banks, on top of the fact that the DoD has a couple of programs in place to help military, the banks are really starting to recognize this a lot more. So
they are. In many cases, they have special departments set up just to handle military distress sale situations. Number 12, a payment increase or a mortgage adjustment. You may be on a adjustable rate loan. You can afford your mortgage comfortably right now, but next month, 2 months, 3 months down the road, there is an adjustment taking place that is now going to make that mortgage unaffordable. And that would, in amongst itself, qualify as a hardship and be a need to sell.
And I think we're going to do another video on that shortly too, in regards to different things that should be done. There's a process or process, depending on what part of the world you're from, that has to take place to either help with a loan mod or a short sale.
Another one is not directly related to your mortgage, but it could be an insurance or a tax increase. So property taxes may go up because of a new assessment or a new bond in your area, or your insurance may go up because the area that you live in has had a natural disaster recently, and now the insurance companies are bumping the rates in that area. You add that in, and now all of a sudden,
there's a need to sell.
There's a need to sell. You can't afford the taxes and the insurance on that house anymore. A little bit related to divorce here, but not quite the same thing, separation. You may have people that are still married, and now there's a separation. They're living in different households.
And key phrase, living in different households, and really the bank says, okay, they're separated, great. Show me some legal paperwork that constitutes the fact that they're really separated.
Right.
So you have to be careful with that one.
Another one could be too much overall debt, number 15. So you may have a situation, again, where you've inherited something, you've had an increase in debt, that kind of would link two of them together. You may have another one where you've been barely getting by month to month. And the way you've been doing it is, we call it robbing Peter to pay Paul. You've been taking off a Visa to pay MasterCard, and vice versa, going back and forth. At some point, that train pulls into its station and it's done.
Yeah, poor Peter. He keeps getting robbed. And Paul gets a little bit of cash.
Exactly.
And eventually you got to bring in someone else.
Yeah, so now all of a sudden you may have a situation where, your credit lines are maxed.
Why does Peter always get robbed? Why doesn't Paul get robbed and Peter get paid?
Yes, Robin.
I don't know. Let's find that out. Maybe another video.
Maybe another video.
What's the last one?
Number 16. Incarceration.
If you are in prison or in jail right now, you probably can't afford your home.
No, what do they get, 10 cents a day?
Some of them 10 cents. I don't even want to go into that because I don't know for sure. I've never really been there, but rumor has it they're not making a whole lot of money.
Not making a whole lot of money. So everything may have been going along fine, and then you may be Well, I'm not going to go there.
You may have become incarcerated due to one reason or another, and maybe unjustly incarcerated. But the point is that you need to sell the property.
Yeah, and that doesn't matter who you are. You could be a high-level executive. You could be mortgage industry. You could be in the financial industry. You could have just.
Well, let's not go there because
we're not going there.
Because there's some yahoos out there right now that are in prison that still have millions and millions of dollars, and they're not in a short sale situation.
That is true.
Don't get me started on these flippin' LA celebrities that are, in-home incarceration with the little tether on their foot.
The in-home incarceration with the shock belt attached to their ankle is not what we're talking about here. You are actually serving time in one of our country's facilities. That is going to qualify.
But wait a second. Let me throw this out there. If one of you fine citizens have home arrest, and you're a multi-millionaire, and you're having to go down that really painful road
of not being able to
leave your house, but everything is catered to you, and you need to sell, please give us a call. We'd like to talk to you about how to possibly sell your home as a short sale, or at least be on a TMZ with you and have people laugh at us.
Exactly.
Oh,
exactly. So there you are, 1 through 16 on the acceptable hardships for a short sale. So if you have any questions about any of these, or a situation that you think might fit, but it doesn't quite...
You're not quite sure?
Exactly. Give us a call. Find us on the web, www.s2neg.com.
Carrier pigeon to our office. I appreciate you going 1 through 16. I appreciate that, man.